Hi everyone, welcome to our Google Plus Hangout for Tomodachi Life. My name is Krysta. I work at Nintendo of America, and we will be talking about Tomodachi Life today with some awesome panelists. I'll be moderating for you today. So over the next 30 or 40 minutes, we'll talk about the game. So Tomodachi Life, if you're not familiar with the game, is a really unique game that stars you. You can add me characters of your friends, your family, even celebrities into the game, and you can watch them and interact with them in really fun and unpredictable ways. So welcome to the very odd and wonderful world of Tomodachi Life. So before we dive in, let's meet our panelists. First, we have Jose Otero.
Hello.
Jose is the associate editor for IGN and the host of Nintendo Voice Chat podcast.
Thanks for having me, Krysta.
Welcome, Jose. Secondly, we have Kristina Horner.
Hi.
Kristina is a Seattle-based video blogger, and her YouTube channel is I Talk to Snakes. I love that name. It's awesome. She talks about all the fun, nerdy, girly things that we all love, and she also runs a gaming channel called Team Hypercube. So welcome, Kristina.
Thank you.
Next up, we have NintendoFanGirl, or Sam. She's been video blogging about Nintendo and the game industry for the better part of the past decade, so it's been a long time. She's also known for cosplaying at conventions across the country. So welcome, Sam, NintendoFanGirl.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And lastly, we have Colin McIsaac, who is the co-founder and editor of Gamnesia.com. He is a Nintendo enthusiast. Colin's been playing video games as long as he can remember and is a self-proclaimed master of Nintendo trivia, so I'm going to have to test you later.
Well.
Cool. So welcome, everyone. Let's just jump into some questions about Tomodachi Life. So you've all had a chance to play the game for a little bit. I'm interested to hear what your initial impression is of the game.
Sure. Who wants to go first?
I can if no one else wants to.
All right, Colin, take it away.
Okay. Well, my initial impressions. At first, I was sort of a little confused because it seems like a life simulator on the surface, but what I found it really is like just a big wacky sort of like it's like a joke life simulator almost. It's like a life simulator. What if all of these weird things happened? And so it started to sort of like, when people say these sort of like quirky things like, always feed the monsters under your bed, it's always really fun and it's really amusing. So.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy mostly about Tomodachi Life is the way you sort of incorporate anyone you want, right, to participate on the island. And then you just get a peek into these very quirky everyday lives, from dreams to, they make guest appearances all over the place. You're watching me news. Like, you just get these little bits of information that are really funny in most cases. I just saw one this morning where, like, someone on my island had a temper tantrum that stopped traffic. And it's this weird, like, photoshopped almost thing. And I really enjoy the level of personality it brings to sort of a game. I don't, outside of maybe sort of a simulations type thing. I don't really see that. But also, I really like how it stars your friends, and that's a really great way to laugh not only at yourself, but at the people you know.
Yeah, I live with a lot of people in real life. I have 3 different roommates, and so they were the first people that I put on my island, and my roommates keep like peeking in my room when they see me playing, and they keep asking, what am I doing now? What am I doing now? And so like it's been just as much fun for them as it has been for me, just to see the weird things that their characters do.
For me, it's been probably the most fun just trying to find all the different items, all the different room layouts, and like there's just so much stuff in the game, and I know that it's just going to keep coming for weeks and weeks to come, so that's what I've been most enjoying personally.
Yeah, the customization is really cool because every day you unlock new clothing items for your Mii characters, or room interiors, or even food that you can feed them. Last week, I think I gave some fried rice to Mr. Iwata, and he loved it so much he rocketed off the earth. So,
alternately, I gave one of my islanders pancakes, and she hated it so much that she like melted through the floor.
Yeah, I love how expressive all the characters are. So speaking of characters, I think, Kristina, you mentioned that you put your roommates in the game. I put a ton of people in the Nintendo office in the game, which is really fun. But what about some of the other panelists? Who did you put in your game, and who did you pick for your Tomodachi Life Island?
I mostly put coworkers and just friends mostly. But then again, you do get tempted, right? And you're like, okay, I want Reggie stomping around or something like that,
Right.
just to see like sort of what happens, what gets introduced. I mean, it's very funny even to observe again how they interact and even arguments, right, where they're like throwing things at each other and both need a second to calm down and then finally sort of make up. So I mostly put coworkers and friends for the most part.
What about you, Colin?
Yeah, well, it's the same. Coworkers, friends, family is the big sort of trifecta. But a couple of times I have been tempted to put some celebrities in there. Like I'm sure you've all heard of Shigeru Miyamoto. I couldn't have resisted the urge to download his little me from the QR code and put him in the game. And
he's in my game too.
Yeah. And one day he asked for a new hat. He really wanted a new hat, and the only thing there that I thought suited him well was a pink mohawk. So I was running around with a hot pink mohawk everywhere. So
I think he's wearing a bandana in my game, which is pretty awesome.
The only celebrity that I've put in mine so far is I put Harry Potter in mine. And he is popular. Everybody wants to be friends with him, and it's interesting to see who he might blossom a romance with.
My game is almost entirely Nintendo characters. I went the Nintendo Direct route, and so I've got like Mario, Zelda, Ganon, and then like a few of my own friends, so I can see how they intermingle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really fun. I love that function that you can just put in different characters. You can even share me characters with your friends. So around the office, there's people that have different me characters in their game, and we've been transferring the characters back and forth and things like that, which has been really fun. Sure. So we've seen some pretty creative me characters from gamers. Have you guys created any of your own and added into your game at all, or have you guys just been using sort of the official QR codes from the Nintendo Directs and stuff?
I've made all of my own. I actually didn't know about the QR codes, so I'm gonna have to go look at them.
Yeah, no, I have some friends in Japan who played this game, but as the name Tomodachi Collection, and I was very happy to find out that their QR codes still worked in the US version, so I was able to import a bunch of friends who, I won't see for a while unless I'm over there covering an event or just on vacation. So it's really nice to be able to connect with them and, see what wacky things they do here.
Yeah, I've been creating most of my own too. Like I said, I downloaded the Miyamoto QR code, but I've been creating most of them, and one of the things that I really, really like about creating the Miis in Tomodachi Life is it lets you import them into Mii Maker. So you can send the Miis that you make in Tomodachi Life to Mii Maker, which is a great... I hadn't really built up my Mii library yet, so this was a great way to sort of, do both at the same time.
And vice versa, too. If you've street passed a ton of people and you want to put them into Tomodachi Life, you can transfer it from your Mii Plaza into Mii Maker, and then from there bring it into Tomodachi Life. So it works both ways, which is really cool.
That's where I got most of my Tomodachi Life friends. I just plain out imported them from street passing.
Yeah.
It works.
So as we're talking about Mii and the Mii population on maybe some newly formed islands, since the game just launched today for us, so we do have some really cool QR codes of Christina Aguilera, Debbie Ryan, Shaun White, and Zendaya, and Shaquille O'Neal. So we have them on the Tomodachi website. You can go ahead and go there to get QR codes, or we'll post them after this Hangout to the page. So get over there and get some Miis put into your island. Okay, let's talk about some of the different locations on the island. So not only do you have your apartment building where all of your characters sort of live, there's other locations on the island that unlock as you sort of go through the game. So do you guys have any favorites that you've seen some funny events happen at?
I really like the tower. There's this great event there called Quirky Questions, so I'm visiting there all the time. It lets you sort of customize your own questions that you ask the Mii characters, and they all raise their hands when the question, their answer is yes, I guess. And it's always just really funny to see how they react to each other, because even the ones who don't raise their hands sort of look around, and it's always just really fun.
I like creeping on characters that are out hanging out. Like there was 2 characters that I think are about to fall in love that were down at the fountain, and they were like talking at the fountain. But then a 3rd character was just walking around the fountain, and it was just creepy. And so I kept taking like screenshots of it just to remember this like strange thing that happened.
I personally like the amusement park, mostly because of the night market that happens, where you can buy a little grab bag. It's a little bit sketchy, but you get 3 random items, and it's my personal favorite. The best purchase in the game, I think.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy visiting the coffee shop, if only for the conversations, right? When they have, boys hang out, girls hang out.
Yeah.
Just the weirdest things get said. I think one thing I heard once was, "Hey, have you heard the latest thing going around about Otero? I can't believe that." And I was like, What do you mean? Oh my God. So I really enjoy like that part of sort of the personality again.
I like the music venue where you can go and like have your characters perform, and I wrote some awesome ballads, by the way, that I have to share with you guys later. But it's just so funny. You can like customize the songs. You can put them into groups. I have a boy band made out of some Nintendo office employees that I have a million pictures of, and I've sent to them over email to embarrass them. So pretty fun. We talked a little bit about outfits and a little bit about food, but we didn't talk about how the Miis sort of react when you give them these items. So they can be, like we said before, really, really happy and enjoy the food, or they can like melt into the floor from disgust. But they also level up when you sort of solve their problems and make them happy, and they give you items in the game too. Do you guys have any strange items that you'd like to share with us that you've received from your Mii characters?
All of my Mii characters are giving me tissues and cold medicine and things. That's all I can get. I don't know why.
Yeah, mine are giving me cold medicine and stomach medicine, so
Yeah.
I guess they don't care as much about my nose, but...
Yeah, I've gotten I've gotten different items depending on if I've sort of completed some of the games they have. For example, like the shadow game or the pixelated item. But I do find it funny that the minute you lose, they always whip out the tissues. I'm just like, what are you saying to me, Tomodachi Life? Like, what is that?
Or a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah,
Toilet paper. I have a lot of those.
Yeah, but then I do like the benefit of like picking with the 3 sizes of prizes, right? And you're kind of wondering like, what am I going to get? And there's nothing to hide like the disappointment when you see a really cool like Virtual Boy or another Nintendo history related item in a box you didn't pick.
And you got a jump rope.
Bad. Yeah, exactly.
I always just go for the really big ones. I always figure something's got to be in there that's unknown.
I'm with you on that. I always pick the biggest basket too, which doesn't always work out for me, but
Yeah, sometimes the best one's in the middle. I found more good items in the middle.
I'm with you.
This is good strategy discussion of item picking.
Of random item picking.
Someone's got to make a formula somewhere.
Yeah, we need to do that. We'll get on that after this. I actually really like when I get this swing from the characters, and then you like push them on the swing. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous because they have the rope, like that kind of robotic voice when they're on the swing. So you're pushing them, they're like, "This is fun. We this is great." And you're like, "What is going on?" But it's hilarious. I'm so entertained by that. I don't know why.
I love when they can't pronounce things. One of the phrases that I programmed in for one of them to say when they're worried is "Oh no," but they can't get all those O's, so it's just like "Oh no" is how it sounds.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Say that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The hypnotizer is also a really cool item, I feel, because you can experience some of the dreams you've already sort of had, I guess. And anytime if you want to show someone, like, hey, there's this really, like the secret dream is the best, right? Because someone whispers something in someone else's ear, and then their face just goes out into space and then comes back because it was such an amazing thing. And I like being able to show that to people because it definitely helps them understand a little better what the game is about. More of the observational humor than, say, interaction.
Right. So yes, we talked a little bit about sort of the humor in it. Some of the most entertaining aspects of the game is obviously sort of watching this really zany and crazy events that kind of take place in your game. So what are some surprising things that have happened on your island or like hilarious moments that you can share with us?
Man, romance drama. Romance drama. No, just when someone tries to make a sweetheart and then someone goes wait, and they come out and sort of like say, hang on a minute, and they have to choose. I feel like those always sort of surprised me because I didn't expect them, and they're really funny to watch.
I agree, and that happened very recently. I think it was 2 days ago. I was playing, and one of my personal real-life friends was confessing his love to Zelda, and Ganon came out, and the whole wait. And Ganon ends up marrying Zelda in the end, in my game.
Wow, I never thought that would happen. That is
quite a twist. Yeah,
definitely a twist. Yeah, I like going around the office and like telling people like, this is who you're with now. Did you know? And they're like, ew, it's weird, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
One of my most surprising things, and this isn't quite on the island, but it's they have this like compatibility tester that says like what's your romance rating or your friendship rating, or like, and they have a forecast for like days where like hanging out leisurely is going to be good, or like when there's like good love romance and there's good like friendship chemistry. And I found, and maybe this is just because I've only tried looking at it like 4 or 5 times, but I've found that that's scary accurate to real life. And I'm sure I just don't have like enough experience checking and making sure it's like on point. But whenever those little clouds show up, it's always been at the end of a day that like wasn't quite as good.
Interesting.
Tomodachi Life predicts the future.
Yeah.
I do find that when you're looking at people's like favorite things or whatever, it kind of matches up. Because someone came over to my game and was like, "Those are really my favorite foods, like for real." And I was like, how does it know? It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh no, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, I found it to be really interesting seeing what things people like and what things they don't. I put my friend in just like a sweater and jeans, and she hated it. She was like, oh, I don't like this. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to put you in a hot dog costume then. And she was so excited about this hot dog costume. So you can't explain it sometimes.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate when sort of accidentally it does mirror real life, right? Like I have a friend who prides himself on the way he dresses. He wears, very nice, hats and clothing. And in the game, when he preferred that stuff, I was just like, this is hilarious. And then just taking photos and tweeting about them and sending them to him, telling them, this is kind of a funny coincidence. So it's really great when that happens.
I was laughing really hard today because one of my roommates is really bad about just drinking protein shakes and stuff like that. And he always eats a lot of string cheese. And those were 2 of the things that were on sale in the food area today. So I decided I was only going to feed him that stuff. And it's now his favorite food. And he's mad at me in real life that now his meat only drinks protein shakes.
That's awesome.
I've actually, when I started the game, I started giving my guy like cheeseburgers and nachos and like steak. And those are like my real life favorite foods. And like fried chicken, and he liked them okay, but then I started giving him stuff that I hate in real life. I don't even remember what, because I just like wasn't, thinking very much about it. And he was just like, I love this. This is the best. And his happiness levels were just going through the roof, and it was just, okay.
Maybe you need to give those foods a try in real life. Maybe you don't hate them anymore.
Maybe I haven't given him a fair shot yet.
Fair shot. So we talked a little bit about the ways we can sort of connect with other Tomodachi players, like exchanging memes and things like that. But one thing we didn't mention is Street Pass. So you can actually Street Pass in the game. You can have an item that you have as your, quote, export item. And then when you Street Pass with other players, you can go to the dock and you can get different items from different players. So what is your export item? Have you guys gotten anything cool from other players?
I don't remember what mine was. I remember them making a big deal out of.
Yeah, mine was some kind of like rad shirt, if I remember. But I've seen like there's like a Phantom of the Opera costume. There's like a couple of other ones, and it is fun to watch the boat sort of come in, drop the item off, pick it up, and then there's kids that get dropped off sometimes too, and it's like, oh, okay, that's normal, sure.
Yeah, they all kind of go to your campsite, and I have somebody that I think came to me from the Japanese game because his name is in Japanese, but you can actually give him a message to take back to his original owner. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But my Street Pass item is a performer dress. So whenever you see that, that's mine. So very cool. Looks pretty.
Street Pass is one of my favorite things about the 3DS, and I love especially going to conventions where you just like collect street passes all day. I haven't had a chance, obviously, to do that with Tomodachi Life yet, but I'm really excited to see what it adds to that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing that one.
So, what is your favorite moment? I know this is very hard to choose. What would be your maybe of the week, not of all time, because I know that's really hard to pick, but favorite moment of the week from Tomodachi Life?
For me, it was discovering that Luigi's favorite food is white bread because it's also like the cheapest food in the game.
It's like $1.
Yeah. So now I know I could just feed him white bread for the rest of his life. It's all good.
For me, all in the span of like 3 or 4 days, one of my friends in real life married Samus, and then they had a kid who grew all the way up from baby to like adult, who like sets out off going on his own in the world, all in like 3 days. So I was pretty amused at how quickly time must pass there. That was a really funny moment.
I think for me, I don't think I'm as far into the game as you guys are because you are having way cooler things happen. But I got the Rent-A-Cat coupon for my character, and then found out the same day that there was a cat convention at the park, and so I actually haven't been able to go yet. But I'm excited to go check out the cat convention.
Nice. Very cool.
I haven't seen the cat convention yet, but I really want to.
Yeah, I haven't yet. That sounds awesome.
That sounds pretty cool. I do like the rent-a-dog, rent-a-cat coupons, because then randomly when you look into their apartment, they're like running around with like a dog and a cat.
I was like shaking mine like this, just like running around holding it by its arms.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment of the week so far has been the honeymoon photos after a wedding, because the wedding, they, as expected, they play out how they are, and it's kind of funny to see like Obama standing next to like Greg Miller, or, like someone I work with. But then you go on like honeymoon in Japan, and you're the photographer, and you always get those blinky pictures, and you're trying really hard not to mess it up, but it still happens. I just love how charming that comes across, right? Because it's definitely something that's like scrapbookable. That's something that you think about, you're instantly like capturing the photo because you want to either tweet it or show it to someone inevitably.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our last question here. What 3 words would you use to sum up Tomodachi Life?
I would probably just say, what the heck?
Pretty good.
I would probably say everything's a joke. Because everything is a joke. It's really great.
Yeah, I would say laugh at yourself. I think just having that look-alike that goes through a lot of experiences, it's just kind of fun to laugh at what happens. And I think that's ultimately one of the game's better successes. I'd seen things experiment with me's before, but I really like how this sort of takes advantage of how this personality works, and then what comes later from that. And that ultimately is what I think. Yeah, laugh at yourself is how I would definitely the 3 words I would lean towards.
I would say ridiculous, random, and magical because everything that happens is just so odd and out there, but probably the best thing for me is that you can always take screenshots of it and share it and act like it is real life, and that's
I've been doing a lot of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now there's an image share is so easy to use within Tomodachi Life as well, so you can quickly grab screenshots and share it via image share, which is like a little plane that's on your island. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of your awesome screens, and I'm sure everybody that's playing the game now will be sharing some really hilarious screens as well. Well, that wraps it up for our Tomodachi Life Hangout. Thank you all for being with us today. Thank you to our awesome panelists who talked about their thoughts on the game. Tomodachi Life is out now in retail stores and also available for download on the Nintendo 3DS eShop. Be sure to stay tuned at e3.nintendo.com for all the great E3 stuff that we have coming up next week. So we will see you guys later.
Thanks, Krysta.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.